Welcome back, viewers. You are still on the press here on Confront TV. We shall, of course, be looking at these highlights in the stories that concern us, and then we shall be talking about them. Of course, at some point we will open the phone lines, so you join us in the conversation. But with me here in the studio is our own guest, Abdulazeez Idris, a public affairs analyst who has always followed us, who look through the headlines and share the thoughts of Nigerians. You're welcome.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Sir.
So, we are here to talk about the major stories that concerns you and us here, and so we shall be looking at the one that reflected in all the newspapers, from Punch to Guardian to This Day to Vanguard to the Daily Independent, and all of them were talking about the issue of the remark by the U.S. president on Nigeria and the level of reactions that it has generated from within and outside the country. More profound is the position of some international partners. The EU, for example, are insisting that, okay, no, Nigeria is very complex, and so understanding the dynamics require a deep study and analysis to know why these challenges are there, and so it is not at all a religious persecution. The same has come from even those who are in the United States lawmakers. And then we also have China saying, no, you don't interfere with another sovereign state on religious ground. It is a matter of belief and their conviction. This, of course, is support that will boost out the president and the Tinubu administration and the APC ruling party. What are your thoughts on all of these?
Yeah, before it rains, usually there will be dust, there will be breeze, storm, and many other things, then before it will rain. That's how Nigeria have been passing through different type of storms until today. That's what Nigeria will keep battling with. This issue of U.S. threatening Nigeria with the military invasion, or the claim of genocide, especially particularly claiming Christian genocide, is really something of concern. And this have, if you really look at it now, you find out that Nigerians were divided into two or even three. Many perspectives, people have different views on how they see it. But I think, as even President Bola Ahmed Tinubu have said it, that Nigerians need not to panic. We are coming out stronger after this, with this designation of Nigeria as a country of particular concern. Yeah, really, this is not a past time. Nigeria has been going through all this. This claim, the issue of genocide, though in the language of President Donald Trump, he did not mention genocide. He only mentioned that existential threat to Christians in Nigeria. But the U.S. congressman, which is known as Ted Cruz, he's the one claiming it, or point blank said that this is a genocide against Christians. That's the bill he presented to the House that he wanted it to pass, so that Nigeria will now be considered or designated finally as that CPC. It is still on ground. It hasn't yet been passed. We hope and we pray that, yes, the House will reject it. The reason is there are so many things that happens before these claims. Going back by some years back, maybe right from 2014 downward, if you could remember, there was that same claims that there were Christian genocide in Nigeria. Where are these Christian genocides happening in Nigeria? Is it only Christian genocide, or we're having terrorism in Nigeria? It's because of this same issue of terrorism as President Muhammad Buhari, even before President Muhammad Buhari, Jonathan and others, took their case 2 years that they need weapons, they need advanced weapons, even they want to purchase aircraft. There was even a time that Obama said he would not sell weapons.
It was for the Apache aircraft.
That's it. And they said it was because there's these claims, either genocide or on the side of even the terrorists, our military don't have due consideration to humanity when they are dealing with these terrorists and so on. So it's not today. That's what I wanted Nigerians to understand. It hasn't started today. Now, if we look at these claims of genocide, the word genocide is too heavy, really, for what is happening on ground. We acknowledged that yes, there were cleans of Christians, cleans of Muslims, and even clean of
non-Christian and non-Muslims,
pagans who don't have any religion, or they are traditionalists. This has happened in both parts of Nigeria. If you take particular case whereby we have to emphasize was Plateau and Benue, because they are the one that the clerics went to US, you understand, to address the Congress and tell them this is what is going on in our state. So in particular, it's not the whole Nigeria, for example, even if they were, as how they presented there, they were talking about Plateau particular and Benue State. Well, when Ted Cruz and his teams, maybe, or those whoever came from America to come and confirm these allegations, when they came, what they forgot was any judge that hears only one side
of a story,
he cannot be able to do justice to any judgment. It can be imbalanced. The Benue case in particular started not today. It's not something of decades. It is even something of a century or even over. Why I said this is because in Benue in particular, farmers and herders, prior to this time, they have good relationship. But despite that relationship, there is still some time that they used to have conflict, because herders are used to breach in the thing that when you do your farm, they will come one day and grade over your farm. It really always had been a problem whereby sometimes resulted in fights and battle, loss of lives, loss of cows, and many other things. This is not, that herders farmers clash was not only peculiar to Benue State. It is happening all over Nigeria, including the northwest and northeast. You understand? So coming down to Benue, the problem escalated because there were no proper technicalities or mechanisms put in place, you understand, to ensure that the farmers and herders in Benue State live peacefully. No any effort made by either state traditional rulers or whatever. Let me say, because the reason is, even if there is, that effort is not enough. This thing has been for over, as I said, many decades, as I know, Benue and Benue farmers and herders crisis. So when you allow something like this to keep growing bigger and bigger, there will be revenge after revenge. You attack us today, tomorrow we attack you. That's what is happening. That's what they have been doing in Benue State, the farmers. Now, later on, it escalates. They give it a connotation of like religion, because in some instances they will attack. They might attack them in church, or either they might attack them in their bushes where they live. You understand? So that's counter attack and counter attack. That's what resulted to this, the level we are today in Benue State. It's not today. It has something that has been long. That it's just that the federal government has not put enough, or state government have not put enough peaceful resolutions, that things that will bring peace in Benue State, enduring peaceful resolution that will last longer. You understand? So they keep allowing it to escalate to that level. So now there are these killings, because now there are times that you find out that Fulanis, the herders, will ambush a village of Tibs or Idomas, Even yesterday, I think there's something like that, or early morning, this and I have something like that happened. You see, there are two things. The farmers in Benue State. I could remember there was a time when both federal and state government were advised to provide a grazing reserves for these herders. Yes. But some states, due to just some differences, due to some how they perceive the matter, you understand, they refuse to acknowledge that these grazing reserves, even colonial masters, have designed it so that to avoid this type of conflict.
Contain the herders in one area.
Yes, it will to contain them.
And because it will attract a lot of investment to that particular area. Maybe more persons will be interested in even investing in
cattle rearing. That's it. Not only there, some Fulanis that you see them having cattle, and some of them are not theirs. Many people have cattle, you understand, not necessarily herders, they themselves. And another thing that I want people to consider, I met so many Fulanis from that axis where they were not even Muslims, they were Christians. I challenge anybody to go and investigate. There were Christians among those Fulanis.
In Benue and Plateau.
In Benue and Plateau, they were Christians. Evangelism of Christianity has reached them, and they were evangelized. Some they were not even Muslims before then, because people thought any Fulani you see is Muslim. Not all of them. And another thing is, if you go to even the Muslim Fulanis, they were only acclaimed Fulanis, unless those who live in towns. If you ask him to recite anything from the Quran or anything, he don't know anything. How to pray, he don't know. You understand? So, what I'm saying in essence here is it only that Muslims are killing Christians in Nigeria? We should acknowledge that there are those killings by the terrorists. Herders and farmers is a peculiar one. If you go to Plateau, for example, in Plateau's own case, why I'm emphasizing on this, because the Plateau and Benue clerics went there to claim that there's genocide. Plateau case is entirely even different from Benue State. Though in some instances there were coincidences where they are related. But when you look at number one, political is part of it in Plateau State. Let me start with this. Why? Because we need to look at all these angles. Whether this claim of genocide is true or not, or at least even if there is, what are the reasons behind it? In Plateau State, for example, since the beginning of political dispensation or democracy, let's say right from 1979 downward, there's one problem that failed to be resolved up to today, and that's why to me, based on my own investigation, I find out that what causes what kept the political crisis to move and take different metamorphose and take so many different shapes. Looking at it in some angle as religious, looking at it in some angle as ethnic, you understand? All coincides, all interwoven.
Taking a root from one
particular issue, that is political. Initially, it's political. In Plateau State, in 1979, when there is an election in Plateau State, I think it is Solomon Lar or Gamade, who one of them was the governor at that time. His deputy governor was a Muslim from that same state. The Plateau State Muslims, I think, predominantly, they have like 3 to 4 local governments. But the failure of those others within the majority tribes to recognize that political balance of giving them this political deputy governor is one aspect of it. Whether we like it or not, we have to say it. The first person that was elected as deputy governor, I cannot recall the name, but I think somewhere along the line he was murdered, and no any political solution was taken, no any justice has been done, you understand? And prior to that time, downward, no any plan, you understand, to consider those predominant Muslim states to even be deputizing the governor in the state. You understand what I mean? This is one. So now, before you know, it keeps metamorphosing. So it gives a grudge in the heart of those who are feeling that why are we sidelined? Why are we marginalized? That's what brought about the marginalization of some of these people from the Plateau State. You understand what I mean? So from before you know, in 2001, when they started that fight, the religious fight that started initially, if you can recall, it now, before you know, it now changes from political, it becomes religious, it becomes ethnic. You understand? So before you know now, the Fulanis that are initially started just between Hausas and the Broms and Angas maybe, but later now they start to attack Fulanis in villages, and the Fulanis in the villages, whom are not Hausa really, they don't have any problem with that. They only just to graze with their cows and go. But when you involve Fulanis in fight, it's a fight that they don't, their fight is forever. Even in the farmers, that's what is happening. If they graze in your farm, you attack them, there's an attack, there's a loss of life or loss of cow, after 1 or 2 years, they will come for revenge. That's how they are. So it now becomes a revenge matter. Fulanis will attack Broms will attack Fulanis. They will attack Angas will attack Fulanis. So all these are the problems that is keep going on. And up to today, the Plateau State government, the federal government, the traditional institutions that we have in Nigeria, they have not yet sit down to look at the political structure of just Plateau Jos to see how we can come to an end of this problem. We keep talking about giving securities to the state, blah, 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 blah. It won't solve. Even this matter is a political. Resolve that political first before you think that military can do anything. Military cannot be everywhere. The only personnel we have in Nigeria, how many are they? We are just 230,000. You understand? They're not enough. That's why when people are talking now, Trump is threatening Nigeria, some people are making mouths. If they come, we'll push them, they will not even go back. And you can't compare a world superpower who is #1 in the world with Nigeria, which has been ranked 31st. We're having only 230 personnel, security personnel in Nigeria, that is the military. And US has 1,300,000 personnel. Even the servicemen that they can recall, US has over 770,000 personnel. Just look at the capacity,
There's no basis on comparison.
No basis for comparison.
Diplomatic measures should be adopted and the matter resolved. And like you have just noted now, I give it in historical security challenge in places Benue and Plateau. Of course, it used to be Benue Plateau, so it is a very long history of a conflict arising from communal engagement. When people are engaged in their own economic activities, the farmers and the herders, and then there is this club. But again, it behoves on the farmers and the herders themselves to be very responsible. For instance, it is easy to say that the herder would have been the one who is going to ignite the fight because it's not as if he wants it, but his animals are hungry and they want to eat. As he takes them out for grazing, they wander from where they see better food in terms of cash crops that were farmed for consumption. So for them, it is more tastier, it is better for them, and so they go take it. And the typical system then, of course, I used to hear that system there was that the farmer now takes a report to the chief. Say, look at the level of damage I've suffered in my farm because of this grazing activity. And then he identifies who the farmer is. But unfortunately, these days you may not even know who the grazing the header is, because the farm is far away from your home, and different headsmen passing. So you wouldn't know which of them did this. And if you blame all of them, the other one may when the argument comes, or maybe that he didn't even pass on that day, but I used to see him every day, but on that day he didn't pass, and you don't have a credit conflict. So it is important that the government, the traditional institution, the government is at state, at sub-national level, and even the federal government should look at this matter. We are very happy that the president has declared a state of emergency in security institutions, where security personnel will now be more trained, as it were, and they should do a lot of training in the area of intelligence gathering, so that you can be able to nip these things in the bud before they rear up. As this kind of comment by the United States President was unnecessary if we had done what we were supposed to do as a nation before now. How come we need someone to challenge us to know what...
you know, from other perspective, this threat by Trump, you understand, will make both the federal government and our Nigerian security system to sit tight, you understand, over these killings that is going on unabated. In Northwest, we're having these threats every day. They're killing people on a daily basis. Likewise, in the North Central Plateau and Benue State, we're having this same problem. Now, it's not only that one. Look at what is going on in the Southeast. The Southeast matter too. What can you call it? You understand? It's an act of terrorism when you are killing your own people in the name of agitation or liberation.
Yeah.
You understand? It's another problem that we are facing. So even there, you can't say that it's Muslims that are going there to kill Christians. It's Christians killing Christians. You understand? So likewise here in the North too, especially in the North Central, we have to look at it from many angles. You understand? Not only the claim of the genocide. Yes, we have to recognize there were killings. There were a lot of massacres coming on.
And those who carry them are criminals.
Are criminals
for the accident.
In whatever way.
And those who carry them out should be dealt with.
Should be dealt with.
And many people are saying that the remark of the president would mean that they are coming not for the Muslims or the Christians, but they are coming specifically for these criminals. But even at that, Nigeria is a sovereign state. If you sought your assistance and help, then you cannot come. We've had this kind of arrangement before, where there was a partnership, I think, with the French government, where the French, security aid came in to help the country at the time. And for some other reason, they pulled out. So if we have something like that, it is something that will be welcome, so that this challenge can be dealt with in the north, east, west, and southern part of the country. Well, that's so much about that. But let's go to the PDP sweet story for the PDP. Court has ordered, and Ibadan court has ordered that the PDP should proceed with our election, which the Federal High Court in Abuja said no, it should be in compliance with the rules of the constitution of the party, to ensure that all congresses follow due process to be able to qualify for the convention. And now another court is saying, oh no, the party can go ahead because it is of course in due compliance, and instructing INEC, even though the other court say you shouldn't be, instructing INEC, you must be at that what do you call it, convention. Now, what does this say to you when conflicting judgments are from courts of coordinated jurisdiction?
Yes, we're used to it in Nigeria here. Most of the time says you be having this conflicting judgment from different courts. High Court will say this, Court of Appeal tomorrow will say that, and finally maybe Supreme Court will say the final. This is not the first time where we're having debacles when it comes to either election, convention, and others, you understand. But the PDP drama now unfolding is the talk of the town today. There's Damagum camp now, there's Wiki camp now, there's even another camp, you understand, coming off. But you see, though I'm not a PDP man, you understand, but even let's be partisan, non-partisan, the judgment given, you understand, by both courts is going to be studied by INEC, who is the main regulator, you understand. That's why even I think the last time we discussed here, we said the new INEC chairman has a bigger challenge ahead of him, especially when it comes to the management of parties, you understand. We have a problem during Muhammad Yaqub. It's a near collapse of party management when it comes to all these kind of debacles going on from one party to another. But with him now, Josh Amopitan is a lawyer of repute, senior advocate of Nigeria, and a professor in legal studies. So I'm sure with his profession as a lawyer, I'm sure he is going to, him and his team will study these judgments and find out which one is the judgment that they should obey. Is it the one that the secretary was embedded with talks took over, or the one that is maybe looking at the legitimate caretakers, and all the debacles, all the fights between the 2 or 3 warring factions, definitely have to sit down and sort it out. But one thing is, the PDP itself is not helping itself. The founding fathers of PDP, the NEC, the steering committee, and whatever, all those ones, where are they when all these things are happening? Why can't they solve this problem? Don't forget, just some months back, there were some of them that made Goodluck Jonathan, our former president, that should come and contest under same PDP, that he won election in 2011 and he fell in 2015. But even with him, the first thing he asked them to do was to go and resolve the internal crisis in the party. Is that not so? I think I stand to be corrected. But up to today, they have not yet corrected those problems. If Wike is a human being, Wike is a man that has also benefited from this party. He has been a governor through it. He has been a local government chairman, a commissioner, a this and that, minister, all. He is through PDP. He won all his elections. He won is through PDP. So there's no way you can say you are going to. And don't forget, there's a time they left this PDP entirely under his care, and that was when he built his structures. It's a negligence from their own part. But now they have committed that negligence. There's a need for them to do everything to sit down with him, calm him down. Even though you have a different agenda, or you are working for this APC government, okay, let's see how we can allow our party to have its own way out. You understand? We should not entirely destabilize or destroy it entirely. There's no how. A son was destroying his father's palm, because he knew that palm has been feeding him right from when he was born to the time when he grew. So in that case, I'm sure we can listen to them, but I don't see them putting that kind of dialogue mechanisms between the two warring factions, between Wike camp and the other camp. I could see just recently when the former governor of Jigawa State, Sule Lamido, went to even purchase a palm. He wanted to contest for the chairmanship of the party, but he was denied. The way I see it, because he went to the secretariat and they're telling they don't even know why they're selling the pumps. You see the problem. Though I know he comes at toward the closing hour, but he shouldn't have been. They should have considered him, because he is part of the founding fathers of the party. So you can see how ridiculous it is. There are a lot of potholes on the way to the PDP convention. Despite these rulings from the High Court and the one in the Court of Appeal in Oyo State, there are a lot of things to look. But George Amupitan, everything rests on his table. As an INEC, Independent National Electoral Commission chairman, and a legal luminary who knows in and out of all these judgments, you understand? I'm sure he will study it, and we will see his actions, especially now that he's even confronting an election in another state. You understand? Very soon. I think it's within this month, maybe next week or this end of this week. So, to my own understanding, we should not over-exaggerate this matter. We should allow PDP themselves to sit down and iron out this problem by themselves.
Because it has a lot to do with internal democracy.
Yeah.
If the party had been in compliance with its own internal democracy, certainly this back and forth will not have arisen in the first place.
Yes.
Allowing your structures to totally go to one man was what led to the crisis in Port Harcourt.
Yeah.
And now again, it is still it has been dodging the party since that 2022, what they call it, convention. Well, we'll say let's take our last story. But meanwhile, the issue of the petroleum issue, this one borders on every day, where people transport. They say Nigerians to pay 1 trillion extra for petroleum yearly. The the reports I talked about an access to data which suggested that with the 15% increase, about 974 billion naira increase has come on the costs of the product. So it is that whole cost that it has made, and it means that when Nigerians go to buy fuel, if these fuel costs if this cost becomes reflective, this is going to be a challenge. Do you see this as an opportunity for the local producers?
Yes, of course. I think the move was to protect the local production. And I think federal government and the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I'm sure they have their own good work they did here. I mean, they sat down and looked at it from all angles. His economic teams, I'm very much sure they have checked this thing and find out what is the best solution for this problem that we are having. You can see we cannot have a refinery that can be able to refine 650 barrels per day, which is even now they are planning expanding it to 1.4 million barrels per day. And some few individuals, the cabals, oil cabals, will keep undermining and sabotaging the process. It's not good at all. There's a need to protect local production. This lack of protection, that would open a window or even the entire door why we in Nigeria here, we are not producing even matches, even toothpick. We have to import from
everything.
Toothbrush, we have to import from China, from Canada, from England, from France. Why?
Or became a dumping ground.
Yes, so it's because there is no protection. I really like the move by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for making this, because this will enable Dangote refinery to function very well. Let it be given all the opportunities. Sell the crude in Naira, you understand, to the Dangote refinery, and also
in turn will sell it in Naira. They are reflective, so that Nigerians can have a fair.
It will strengthen our currency, and at the same time, don't forget, it is bringing more opportunity for employment. Dangote said his refinery, if fully operational at optimal, it will accommodate over 65,000 Nigerians.
And that is a huge
direct job. Yes,
the lines are open, please. You can make your call in and join us in this conversation. Oh, we have a call already coming in. Let me say this. Good morning. Where are you calling from, and which of the matters are you contributing to? Name or where you're calling from?
Good morning.
Good morning. Okay, from Abuja. Go ahead. Which of the matters are you contributing to? Security issue. Okay, go ahead.
It's not surprising. It's just single message from Donald Trump has suddenly triggered our government to begin to react. I remember when hundreds of people were killed in Benue. There were protests in that community. There were outcries from Nigerians, but government never speak. They pretended like they never hear what was happening. Each time people move in our streets to protest about the insecurity, government will be so quick to send security men to crack them down. But just a message from far in the US, everybody is running up and down here, even making statements that doesn't exist, just to cover their errors. When are we going to get things right? Imagine China is talking, and Nigeria is celebrating, Nigeria government are celebrating. And the Chinese said they want to come and help them. The same Chinese that the US sanctioned and they went to beg to make diplomacy. The same Chinese want to come and fight for us. When are we going to have sense and use our sense? Honestly, our mumu never do us.
Yes.
When our mumu do us, we know what we are doing. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I like it.
How can we be relying on the people who have to go and appeal to get economic balance?
There's nothing China can do if America won't embed us.
That's just it. If they want to, there is just nothing any country can do. If a particular country decides to, you just deploy all diplomatic means. If it's sanctions, you do. What will China invoke any sanction against the US?
Yes.
In what manner will they do that? So the best measure is for the president to be able to explore this thing diplomatically and let us actually zero in on the real issues. Let government be active. Look at the issues. Deal with them. Because people were allowed to start making reckless comments about their capacity to make certain areas ungovernable, certain places very difficult, certain places cannot happen without them and the rest of it. It is these small cracks that have ballooned to become very serious problem that we are finding it difficult to handle. And it's not at all very good. We were talking about the Dangote.
Yes. But before I talk, I would like to say something about what he said. Many people thought, yes, China has any capacity. China, Russia, all those countries, they don't have any capacity when it comes to superpower. America is number one. We have to acknowledge that. No anything you can do about it. It's clear. So people thinking China can do something, there is nothing they can do, because we have seen what happened in Afghanistan, we have seen what happened in Iran, we have seen what happened in Syria. It's an example for us, so that we shouldn't fall into that trap. As you said, diplomatic means is the best.
Diplomatic measure.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, there is one step he misses right from the beginning, was that problem that we don't have diplomatic envoys, or with them ambassadors, let me just put it clear.
Who would have been
engaging even before this to the CPC, now that we're acclaimed or designated as CPC. Even we have ambassador who is capable, at least something can be done even before that, and I'm sure it will be persuaded, because there are so many reasons to give, because especially if you check clearly the videos, the pictures taken and given to US and whatever, mostly they are not there were no most of these videos were fake, in the sense that some were even from Zamfara and Borno State claims that you can see clearly they were Muslims. That's what they the Muslim pattern of burial is not different. It's different.
Yes, while the Christians use coffin, and the Muslims will have the persons wrapped in white clothes, and then he's buried. So some of those pictures that people were circulating on the social media, if you don't have an understanding of belief realities, you just may be hoodwinked to believe that this is just what it is.
And another thing is, you see, let me not to interrupt you, but you can remember when General Muhammadu Buhari was president of Nigeria, there was a time Donald Trump looked at his face, and within the press, he asked him, "Why are you people killing Christians in your country?" That's very, he himself find it very ridiculous. We're supposed to be, this is private talk. You understand? But you were asking me in this kind of conversation. So just to tell people that this thing has not been today, it has been long. Even IFOB has been pushing for this long time ago. Now, let's go back to our discussion on this petrol matter. You see, this petrol issue is something that really affects all of us. And we have to do something about it. This is the right time that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is taking a very bold step. I really recommend him for that. I'm commending him for that, for this step, because this will enable the day refineries
to come alive.
Port Harcourt, Wari, and wherever, they might come alive. I'm in support of auxiliaries that the MD of NNPC, he's claimed that we need to sell these refineries. Since under federal government they cannot work, but you can see NLC, those Pengasan, Nipeng, and whatever, who are the main cabal, they don't want it to be sold, because they don't want those refineries to function, because by the time those refineries function, everybody functions, there will be no more import of petrol. And that's one major area where they're cheating Nigerians.
How are the Pengasan and all that involved? Okay, they are the ones involved in the import.
They are all involved. They have their, you can see even Dangote bought only trucks he bought. They say he cannot use those trucks. You understand? He has to give them the trucks or something like. They have to sit down to terms with him. because he see that they want to sabotage him. You understand? Even among the staff they brought to him that he employed and whatever, he pointed out there were sabotagers. And if he allowed it, he invested over $20 billion.
Yeah.
And they will sabotage it one day and it will become a dump site like what is happening in
He has to protect his business.
Yes, to protect. This is personal business, you understand? And many people are stakeholders in it. So he cannot just go and fold his arms and be looking at these people. Why I'm saying this is, many people, when we are talking about oil cabal, who are these oil cabal? They are the ones. Oil majors, marketers, blah blah, all those ones, all these paying and whatever, they are the cabals. If you don't know, today I'm revealing it. If these people can at least let them go and buy these refineries, why? Some of them, do you know that some of them were given license during Goodluck Jonathan? They has offered them license to go and build their refineries. Look, I
remember during the Obasanjo regime, 18 people, do you still have that copy of that Daily Trust publication? Yeah. 18 companies were given licenses to run private refineries. 18.
How many of them are operating now?
Then before Jonathan came and either they reissue, or maybe those ones were revoked, the other reissue, and then the Dangote refinery came up. So when people shout about monopoly, the question is, did Dangote stop you from running your own, opening your own refinery? You're talking about monopoly.
He didn't. There's nothing like that.
So how was I talking about monopoly? Here is a man who showed interest. He saw an opportunity. He saw an economy to work in. And then he's doing what he's doing with the investment he has made. Take it or leave it. To a large extent, it will reduce the level of money we send out in the name of buying for and that will strengthen our foreign reserve. You get it? So it's something that we must comment. So on your last thought on all of this.
My last thought on this was we should not be praying for military invasion of America in Nigeria. It's not good for our democracy. It's not good. It's not even good for both of us, both Christians and Muslims. If we allow that to happen, it will widen the crack that we have. That's the religious crisis that we have. The crack will no longer be called a crack. It will become a hole, because by the time Americans come invade Nigeria, likely they might give weapons to one party. You understand? And by that time it will become a real war. So their plan was
several global support
to divide Nigeria,
and then they make the country of the resources available.
That's it. It's for them. Is America they only pursue their interests, nothing more. Don't think they are coming to protect you because you're a Christian. Donald Trump is not a good Christian. Go and ask about people around him. Even the Ted Cruz that he's claiming to be religious, he is not in reality. You understand? So when you look at the way they do their Christianity there in either America or Europe, is entirely different from ours. And our own Nigeria is multi-ethnic, multi-religious country, not like them. And here we are, an African Christian thought that Jesus was African. An African Muslim thought Prophet Muhammad is also an African, which are they not. All these religions were imported to us, but we are claimed to be even more religious than those people.
We are all believers by virtue of the importation of the religious belief from those who came to evangelize to us in this country. And so we are Christians, we are Muslims. And then we have those who for one reason or the other remained with the African religious practice. And so they are where they are. We must thank you very much, our public analyst Abdulazeez Idris, for coming and sharing your thoughts with us on the newspaper review today. As you know, my name is OSADEBAMWEN. At the back end, we must be grateful to you, Ehan, you are there. I know Ephraim is also there, and some of the hands who have ensured that we have a success of this the press this morning on the Kaftan TV. Stay with us. We have more programs for you as we say goodbye to this particular one. Thank you.